Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus, again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I want to talk to you, if I may, on the subject matter individual liberty. What I want you to know is this, is that you as an individual, irrespective of all the individuals on the face of the earth, you as an individual, being here on this earth, in this body that you're in, having all of the facilities that are housed within that framework to do all of the things that is done, including the partnership with the oxygen hidden in the air that gives you what it gives you. But beyond that, there are other requirements for your survival, which includes food, clothing, shelter, education, health care. And as an individual, the only way that these needs that has to be met for your survival is that you, as an individual, have to take care of it. Everything, food, clothing, shelter, education, and healthcare is all in your hand as an individual. The only thing that can take you away from that is when you start thinking about you are not alone. You are on this planet, in your city, in your town, in your county, in your state, in your country, with a lot of people. In the United States, 300 million plus, I'm sure. So that means that if you're smart, you don't have to do all of those things yourself. Why? Because all 300 million of you require those same identical things. So rather than 300 Americans, 300 million Americans out there trying to take care of their individual food, clothing, shelter, and education, they share the responsibility. They share it with one another. They share it with one another, where it be split up in different people, different groups, based upon what their desires are, based upon what their energy for participation in this life are. It's split up so that they can indulge themselves in all of those things that you and I need for survival: food, clothing, shelter, education, health care. We, the people, put our hands to the plow. And we create these things as we do right now. The difference is that we will have people doing a particular job that they love. They're not doing it for the money. They're doing it for the love of the job. And in the process, we create all of the things that we have been creating all of the time. And because we're changing our way of doing it, we're doing it in such a way that all of us participate in it. So we don't have to feel that we are alone. We are not alone. This is what I want you to know, that even if the world turn against you, you still have individual liberty to stand against the world. Let me give you an example. Ladies, those of you who are married and your husband is working, he's taking care of all the responsibilities, and you do what you do. How many times do you feel threatened when that man is displeased with something that you are doing or is not doing, and wants to act like you don't matter? Maybe you should leave. How does that make you feel? How threatened does that make you feel? So it means you got to either get in line, fall in line, whether you want to or not. But if you want some harmony, do it just to please this guy when it tears you up inside. But you do it because you can't afford to leave. Or you guys who are caught up in the same situation, I know how you must feel. You're a man, you're supposed to be handling it, and now she's handling it, and she's treating you the same way that men treat women. How do you feel? Wouldn't you like to be free from that kind of bondage? Well, every last one of you should be always free from that type of bondage. And in the way of treating one another in this life, in this different way of life, is exactly what I'm telling you is about. You see, it is not about man's way. See, man's way kind of reminds you of what's going on in the Philippines today. I was awakened this morning listening to the news about what's going on in the Philippines, how the president of the Philippines are paying gunmen to go out and kill anybody that sells drugs or anybody that's using drugs. Do you know the statistics indicate that more deaths are perpetrated upon the people by their own governments than by all of the wars that have taken place? Now, wars that have taken place have done a humongous damage as far as taking lives. But on top of that, your own governments have done more damage to taking lives than all of the wars. And what is that about? That is about governments trying to have control over you. How is it, if you think about it, in the Philippines, the government, I've lived in the Philippines for a while, it is so poor, ladies and gentlemen. People many times, oftentimes, all the time, should I say, go to the military dumps, rambling through it, looking for food, looking for anything of some kind of value, and anything that's not torn down and beat up and rotten out is value compared to what they have. So they take it to their homes so they could say that they're doing better. And we, the people, might not be of the Philippines, but those are still our sisters and brothers. But they're destitute. They're going through all kind of changes trying to survive, and the president has no plans, has no objectives that would lead these people to have a life that they can be proud of. None whatsoever. And yet wants to come out and kill people. Kill people. Kill people. What do you think that is, ladies and gentlemen? That is as far away from God as you can ever imagine. Kill people. But it is right on time with the God that human beings have grown to love. And that is man, and the fear of what man will do to them. Can you imagine all of this suffering in the Philippines? And now the government pays killers to go out and kill dealers and users? How does that look? Paying a killer. And how does that look as a killer? That's so destitute for survival that you will be persuaded to take your gun and go out and kill your cousins, your nephews, for your survival. It would appear that if you were thinking that you would come together and take out a government that has nothing to offer you but something that's rotten as this. But even that wouldn't work, because the government would come back at you and you come back at, and that would go on until no one existed. But there is a way, as I would say to my own sisters and brothers here in Minnesota, here in America, to all of you all over the earth, there is a way that works. It's not of me. It's not of you. But it is a system that works for me and you. And it is built on the foundation of a spirit, ladies and gentlemen, that we can't see, that we can't touch, that we can't feel. But the evidence of it is all around us. And now that we know what is required for our own survival, we accept that spirit's ability to work within us to make us aware of our individual liberties and the glory and the magnificence of this community, this great community that we have, that would allow us to work together to eliminate the stress and the strain of life and open the doors up to the peace and prosperity and joy that we can all endure, not by following your way or my way, but by following a way of a spirit that each of us can claim But none of us can put it over on another, because it is the Spirit that giveth life. And we have accepted it. Now, I just wanted to talk to you about your individual liberties. If you can't not have individual liberty, you cannot have it as a group liberty. Because you can bet your last money, if you're in a group liberty without your individual liberty, you are in bondage. You are in bondage. Without your individual liberty, you are in bondage in anything. But by having your individual liberties, it opens the door to your understanding that you might perceive what it is all about when it comes to that liberty to be expanded individually throughout the whole community, and yet looking for a cohesiveness, a harmony that allows it to exist, and everybody is satisfied. Now, I call it God. It's not me, because I'm just like you. And it's not you, because you're just like me. And the only way for us to be different is that we got to rely on something other than you and something other than me, but something that works for our good. That ain't the devil. That ain't Lucifer. That ain't no superior race or nation. That's a spirit that is responsible for all existence, including us, controlling us by our own permission. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye.